This is a steal for the New York Knicks, as there's been a lot of talk about who they are going to get in the free agency offseason period and how they can completely fix their team and solve all of the problems that have to be solved. And now we've seen it. We have the answer as a Knicks insider revealed some of the key New York Knicks free agency targets and how the Jason Kidd saga will have an impact on all of this that goes down. And we're going to break that all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. If you guys are part of that 74% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe. We got daily videos like this, plus much more. The offseason is here. We have a ton of fun content coming out for you guys in regards to the coaching search, updates on all things Knicks. We have a lot of updates coming up as well, so we got a lot of stuff to watch out for, so have those post notifications on. But let's talk some New York Knicks basketball, as we know that Leon Rose every offseason, for the most part, has made some pretty big moves. There have been times the Knicks haven't done much of anything at all, but for the most part, we've seen the Knicks make some big moves. Whether it's bringing in Donte DiVincenzo, getting another one of the Nova Knicks in there, who ended up having one of the best one-and-done seasons in Knicks history. Whether it's going after Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker and making those re-signing deals as well. There's been a lot of different moves the Knicks have made in order to succeed, and a lot of them have worked. And now the Knicks, most fans will agree that we want to see the same thing out of Leon Rose. First of all, if you can go get Giannis Antetokounmpo and you could actually get him, that's a separate conversation that you have to look into. However, outside of that, we all sort of want the same thing here. And it's not Kevin Durant, it's not superstar hunting outside of Giannis, which is a little different, but it's filling up that bench unit. Getting more players on your bench who can participate and who can really have a major impact on this New York Knicks team. The Knicks are going to be losing a few different players on this squad. Namely, Precious Achiuwa and Cameron Payne will likely not be back with the Knicks this coming season. And those are holes that the Knicks are going to have to fill. Maybe not the biggest holes, but at the end of the day, the Knicks bench was weak last year. So on top of filling holes, they're just going to have to add pieces in a more general sense. And Knicks insider Steve Popper highlighted multiple different players who could help that cause. One of them who we mentioned was Malik Beasley. Out of Detroit, an unrestricted free agent who was a thorn in the Knicks' side in the playoffs. He's a knockdown shooter with a good defensive ability. Last season, Beasley put up 16.3 points per game, 2 assists, and shot 41% from 3 while having an excellent season, shooting 53% on corner threes for the season. Malik Beasley would fit in very well with this New York Knicks unit, and I understand that a lot of people are going to have similar reactions to when Beasley gets brought up. But Beasley, he was such a trash talker to the Knicks. He was out there talking so much, doing all this, doing all that. So you're telling me because he was trash talking to the Knicks, you wouldn't love to poach him from an up-and-coming Detroit Pistons team? I would. I also think he's an excellent player, and that's who Malik Beasley is. It's like Cameron Payne. Well, he's going to ride for whatever team's on the back of his jersey or on the front of his jersey. He's like Russell Westbrook, the same thing. No matter what, riding for the team that you're wearing across your chest. And Malik Beasley was riding for the Pistons or playing the Knicks in the playoffs. They look to Beasley to be a veteran for that team and to sort of give them that jolt. Malik Beasley did that in tenfold. The Knicks don't need a veteran to do that, but it's not going to hurt to have one, especially one who's shooting 53% on corner threes, who you could plug in and have an elite 5 out with Jalen Brunson, Malik Beasley, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, let's be real. When the Knicks lost Donte DiVincenzo, they were missing that lights-out spot-up shooter. They didn't have one last year. They had great shooters. Jalen Brunson, he was an excellent shooter. Deuce McBride, 37% from 3. Mikal Bridges certainly had his moments as well. OG Anunoby had his moments. Karl-Anthony Towns, 42% from 3. But they don't have that quick trigger type of guy who's mainly there to cash in from 3 and could also play some aggressive defense. That is Malik Beasley. The problem is the Pistons, they love Beasley, and they're probably going to offer him a little bit more than what his value is. And the Knicks, hampered by the fact that they're in that first apron right now, Beasley's not taking $5.7 million, maybe a little bit more dependent on how the New York Knicks are able to get things done. But he's not taking just that money. Beasley's going to be making somewhere around $19 million per year, if I had to guess, over this offseason. He's going to want big money from the Pistons for having a big season for them and arguably being their second best player. So I think that Beasley's going to sign pretty quickly with the Pistons, and that's kind of going to hurt the chances of Beasley as much as I would love to have that type of guy, or not even that type of guy, that guy on the team. However, there are options that do become a little bit more realistic. One of them that Popper highlighted is Gary Trent Jr. The Bucks, unrestricted free agent, can fill it up from long range and is a very, very tough player. Last year, Gary Trent averaged 11 points per game, almost at 11%, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and shot 41.6% from 3 as well. So fun little fact right there. Both shooting 41.6% from 3 on the season. Trent's a young guy. The defense Leon Rose is bringing in this guy is not really going to kill someone because Tom Thibodeau's not there. But Gary Trent is not a good defender. There's no two ways around it. People like to say he's a better defender than he is. He's not. He's not. So, I don't love the move. He's off the bench. Is he better than Landry Shamet? I mean, based off the production, you got to side on yes. He does have that tough mentality that the Knicks would like. I'm not saying I'm against the move. He is smaller, so having him out there with Cole, I know Beasley's smaller too, but Beasley plays a bit bigger than Gary Trent does. And to have another 6'4" guy out there when your bench is then going to look something along the lines of, let's say for the argument that they're going to start Josh Hart still, which I don't think they will. You have Kolek probably, and then guys like Deuce and Mitch off the bench for sure, with then Gary Trent Jr. and probably Tyler Kolek. And if you're going 10, then maybe we see Ariel Hukporti as well in some sense. They're likely going to start Mitchell Robinson as long as Mitch is on the team next season, which I think is a very big if. But if he's on the team next season, they're going to start Mitch. They're going to have Josh off the bench. You need a bigger guy than this, so it's going to cause some issues because then there's too much 6'3", 6'2", 6'4" going on there off that bench unit. It's not going to work out. It's going to be a similar problem to what the Knicks had where they just didn't have any forwards off the bench. So I'm not a big fan of Gary Trent's fit with the Knicks more than anything, but a guy who's fit I absolutely love. And you saw him on the thumbnail. You saw him in the Knicks jersey. Khris Middleton, Washington, he's on a player option, so we will get into that in 1 second. Injuries have taken his star power, but at 34 years old, he could be worth a flyer off the bench, particularly if Jason Kidd, his former coach in Milwaukee, comes aboard. Last year, Middleton put up 12 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 36% from 3 and 47.5% from the field. He did only shoot 32% on corner threes, so that's obviously very down for Middleton. Middleton had a weird year like the entirety of the Milwaukee Bucks. There's really just that you have to be very aware of here more than anything, that things did not go swimmingly for Khris Middleton last season. However, off the bench with the Knicks, this is the perfect fit. This is a steal for the New York Knicks, and we got to get into how it's a steal. Because look, as I mentioned, Khris Middleton has a player option. That is $34 million per year. We are going to see Khris Middleton accept that player option. Here's where things get interesting. He can accept that option and ask for a buyout, and the Wizards are not going to hold Khris Middleton hostage. He's a very professional guy, so he's not going to hold the team hostage as well. But you really think Khris Middleton, in his mid-30s, is going to be like, yeah, I'll stick around with the Wizards. I'm going to have fun there. I think there's a very real chance, because no one's trading for $34 million of Khris Middleton. But if Middleton walks in there, accepts his player option, agrees on a buyout at some price, it's probably going to be a bit lower than $34 million, but still, he agrees on a buyout. What we're going to see is this man hit free agency, and I think $5.7 million is in his realm of what he's going to sign. The Knicks have that in their mid-level exception. You go out there, you bring in a 6'6", 6'7" guy off your bench. He could still play defense. He could still shoot the ball well. He could create his own shot off the bench. And then you have a massive hole filled. He fits next to Josh Hart and Deuce McBride super well because he can be a secondary ball handler at all costs. You do still need to find a center, and there will be some center talk. Obviously, Hukporti is going to be in there. It depends on if Mitch is on the team and also if Mitch is playing, like not injured one, and also if he's starting. So it's going to be a few ifs there. There's totally a world where they walk in with Cat, Mitch, and Hukporti and figure out the minutes where all of Cat, Mitch, and Hukporti are playing, and Mitch and Hukporti are mainly going off of each other, and then we see Towns mainly at the 4 spot because it opens up a bit more for the Knicks to go smaller with Deuce, with Kolek out there, stuff like that off the bench. So it could work out that way. Wouldn't be shocked. I just do think they're going to bring in a veteran big man as well. But Khris Middleton solves so many problems off the bench. Yeah, it's the caveat that he stays healthy, but in a smaller bench role, I think he has a better chance of that. The Knicks have the best training staff. They just won the training staff award for the best training staff in the NBA. They poached Casey Smith, who was with the Dallas Mavericks for 19 years, who has been excellent with Knicks player health. Jalen Brunson literally name-dropped Casey Smith for one of the reasons why he's been able to mainly stay healthy with the Knicks. They love this guy. And think about it, the Knicks played more minutes than anyone. And look, they were healthy. You have to take that into consideration. Now, you look at the Knicks who played last year. The big question marks, if you ask me on who's going to be back, because I think the core is going to be back, is Landry Shamet, just because he's a free agent. The Knicks might look to upgrade from Landry Shamet. And then, and these are the guys who played the most in the playoffs. These 8 guys. They're obviously going to have a 9th, and it could be a big man, but we could also, and likely will, see a forward get signed as well. And then Mitchell Robinson, who very likely could get traded, though that's a conversation in itself that we will have at a later time. I know it's going to upset people that I'm saying that, but there is an actual reason why Mitchell Robinson could get traded. There's going to be news on that eventually because Mitch is always in trade rumors, and it's part of the reason why he could get traded because he's always in trade rumors for a reason. That Leon didn't draft him, and that's a part of it, but there's a lot more as well that we'll go over. But you look at the free agents who are in this forward area. You look at a Larry Nance. He fits in if you want to get Ariel Hukporti some minutes at the 5. You can look in the case of Precious, though he's not coming back. Nick Batum, real option. People like that who come in and also are solid. But you also look at the guards. It's not the greatest free agent class of all time. The Knicks are not getting Bruce Brown. He's going to get too much money. Tim Hardaway Jr., I don't even think the Knicks or Hardaway would be interested in a reunion there. Luke Kennard is interesting for the shooting. Karis LeVert is interesting for the shot creation. Matisse Thybulle is interesting because he just had his best shooting season from 3 and is an excellent defender. He's someone who I actually could see the Knicks going after. Connaughton, I could see the Knicks going after. And then there's Beasley. And also, I know you guys see Nickeil Alexander-Walker at the bottom of that list. He's going to get paid way too much money to sign with the Knicks. I imagine Walker will probably stay around, though their financial situation is difficult, so we'll see what happens there. So, obviously, that'll be a certain thing as well. Obviously, talking about Minnesota there. So, you look at Leon Rose, and you do wonder what he's going to do. It's, to me, pretty obvious that if you really want production off your bench, you go out there and sign Khris Middleton. That's who you use your mid-level exception on. You get a 6'7" scorer off your bench, and I do think it's very likely that he's going to opt in. I think it's very likely he'll ask for a buyout before the season begins, saying, I just want to play for a contender. My knees are shot. I'm only going to be in the NBA for so much longer. And the Wizards would likely grant that to get some money off their books, so trades are easier. So there's a world where this happens, and if it does, the New York Knicks have pulled off this one of the biggest steals of the offseason this year. But obviously, there's a whole lot of offseason left and a whole lot of coverage for us to do. So make sure you guys are subscribed, like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.